Hey, realtor friend, is your business slower than you want it to be right now? The buyer slowdown right now is legit. And how can you really nurture your pipeline to keep it full now and into the new year? Today, I'm going to break down my top 10 list of how to succeed in any market. Let's dive in.
You're listening to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast, where we invite you to check your ego at the app, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to dive into all things real estate marketing, social media, friendship, hardship, love, money mindset, and all the things that celebrate you as a badass boss babe.
We're here to encourage you, show up for you, give you a loving kick in the pants when you need it most, and be your soft place to land on the hardest of days. So pull up a seat at our table and get ready to be inspired and start living your best life by design.
Welcome to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast. We are so excited you're here.
Okay, girls, let's dive in. Hey, Bus Bench babes, Beth here doing a solo episode, and we're going to dive into all things like what to do when you're feeling a little bit of a buyer slowdown in the market and you're, maybe starting to panic a little bit, maybe getting nervous, maybe your pipeline isn't as full as you want it to be. I see you. I see you. I would say I certainly have far fewer buyers going on right now than I do sellers. So yeah, I see you. But there are things that we can be doing. I can be doing better job at. You can be probably doing a better job at. So we're going to dive in today. I have a top 10 list. And this is truly like a way to have success in any market. It doesn't matter like what's happening in politics or with interest rates or during an election year or if the sky is falling. There are things that you can be doing that will help constantly feed your pipeline so you don't have to sit in a state of panic. You don't have to wonder where your next paycheck's coming from. You don't have to put little messages out on Facebook like I see all the time, like what would be a great second job for a real estate agent? How about the job you have, right? How about you get serious about the job you have? So we're going to dive into my top 10 list. So let's just rip off the Band-Aid and go for it. Number 1. Audit your CRM. This is the great time of year. We're in fall, we're in Q4, like it's go time. Like now the stuff that you're putting in the pipeline right now, like some of it is going to close before the end of the year. But like if you start having conversations with buyers, unless there's that one kind of unicorn buyer, the average buyer that you're talking to today is probably not even going to close until sometime early 2026, maybe the end of this year, but likely in 2026. So is your CRM totally up to date? Are you tracking all the conversations that you're having with past clients, with leads? Like, are you really using it as the tool that it is? How about your buyer pipeline and seller pipeline, like all the pipelines? Are they up to date and do you have them staged correctly so you can click on a button? I know in Follow Up Boss, I can click on a button for 3 to 6 months, the 3 to 6 month button, and that's everybody that's categorized that I think is going to do some sort of transacting with me in the next 3 to 6 months. And if I click that button, everybody pops up. Is yours that organized and that flushed out so you can start predicting what things are going to look like, what your paychecks are going to look like, what your pipeline looks like for the end of 2025 and beginning of 2026? I think that if you're feeling any sort of slowdown right now, taking a few minutes a day to get into your CRM and to live in your CRM is crucial. Number 2, and Chrissy's going to be so proud of me for saying this, keep your emails consistent. And something that we love about this time of year is that I go hard on Christmas. So much of my brand is about my love for the holidays and for this time of year. And so while my emails might not be as like real estate heavy, they actually are a lot more, they're so much easier to write. They're so much more fun to write this time of year because I'm talking about something that's my passion. I'm talking about the holidays and entertaining and my love language of gift giving and decorating my home and creating joy and doing all those things. So What are you doing this time of year? Are you really pouring into your emails? Keeping your emails as consistent. Don't let them drop off just because we're getting close to the holidays. Now more than ever is a great way to connect with your clients and for you to stay top of mind. So if they want to transact with you, you remember in number one, when you audited your CRM, when they want to transact with you in early 2026, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I love all those emails that Amanda sent me last year and blah, 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 and whatever that looks like for your brand. But don't stop being consistent just because we're hitting the holidays. Don't push that snooze button. Keep all of your emails consistent. Keep your messaging consistent. Totally stay on brand. And if you have something that's really special about your brand, go hard on it right now because it's the perfect time of year to lean into that. Number 3, events. And so much of my top 10 list, you're going to be like, Beth, you talk about this all the time. I talk about this all the time because this is the stuff that works. And if you're not doing it now, I'm encouraging you to maybe not put all 10 things into place because that might feel really overwhelming. But can you just pick a couple of things from my top 10 list and go, okay, I haven't done that before. I'm going to do that now. Events. I had a good friend here in the Twin Cities, real estate agent, and she's like, oh, Beth, I keep thinking about doing events and then I get so overwhelmed and then I don't do them. And then I see you post about your events and they look so fun. And I'm like, do it, just do it. Literally, if Nike says it's a thing, it's a thing. Just rip off the Band-Aid and do it. Guess what? She ripped off the Band-Aid last month and threw an event and it was a raging success. She had so much fun and she's like, thank you so much for the encouragement and the nudge because holy cow, we had such a great time connecting with our clients, past clients. And I'm like, that's what it's all about. Especially if you're like me and you go hard on Christmas or maybe Thanksgiving is a really big deal for you. Could you host a casual Friendsgiving and invite a few clients over, maybe your VIP clients that send you the most amount of business? Or, I don't know, maybe those clients that you've really connected with this year and just to show them how grateful you are for them. It doesn't need to be something that's super, scripted and choreographed and catered. It doesn't need to be that at all. It literally can be Taco Tuesday. It can be a charcuterie night or a game night. It doesn't need to be anything super schwanky. Could it be a movie night in your backyard and you put a movie theater up on a projector? I don't know, but there are so many ways to do it that don't cost a fortune. Our best event of the year is probably our most inexpensive event. And we go to a brewery, I buy the beers and I buy the pizzas. And it's just a 3-4 hours of fellowship and hanging out. And I don't even have any of my vendors help me sponsor it, but you could get a vendor involved, especially someone that really supports your brand and is, someone that you use a lot. Could it be your home inspector? Could it be a title company or your sign company or your marketing company? Could it be someone that could help front some of those costs? But yeah, our brewery event gets bigger and bigger every year. The interesting thing is that when I first threw the event 5 years ago, it was there was a decent amount of booze sold. Don't get me wrong, people were drinking. And then this year, the alcohol, so we have way more people that come to the event now, probably 40% more people. And the alcohol tab is still exactly the same. It's so interesting that so many people really don't drink alcohol anymore. So the alcohol bill, I thought that would continue to grow as the number of people grew. Surprisingly, it's not. And it's still one of those events that everyone comes to. They always have a great time and it makes for a great conversation. And there's always business that comes out of it. Number 4, pop buys. We love doing pop buys on our team. It's one of our favorite things. And as our book of business keeps growing, it's becoming more challenging. I'm not going to lie. It's become more challenging. And the one thing that Carrie has said, so when we do pop buys, I'll have my parents go in one direction and my mom does she has the route all scheduled out. I give her the route and then, she's telling my stepdad where to go. And now they're seeing people that know them, that they're like, who's this cute guy? So we have Marty's got a white beard and he'll wear his Santa hat. And so he looks really festive. And so people are like, who's the Santa guy that drops stuff off at my house? And I'm like, oh, it's my stepdad, Marty. And so then now when people come to events, they're like, oh my gosh, Marty's been to my house before. So it's just kind of making that connection. And Carrie knitted, crocheted one of those Santa hats in our BPR brand colors that are so freaking cute. Actually, they're more like elf hats and they're adorable. And so when we do pop-bys, we're wearing those and it just as cheesy as can be. And it's festive, but it's really leaning into the part of my brand that really loves the holidays. So that just becomes a big thing. And this year, our pop-by, we're going to do rolls of wrapping paper again. So the end of last year, right after Christmas, I went out and bought hundreds of rolls of wrapping paper, when it was totally on sale. I got all the prettiest ones I could find. And then we tie a ribbon to it and a cute little note and then a roll of tape. And it's just literally like, I hope your seasons are wrapped up in love, like something like to that effect that's cute and warm and heartfelt, and it's something different. But we've done pies. When our database was smaller, we did homemade ginger snap cookies that are to die for. Done the pumpkin pies from Costco. What else? Those have all been like really great. So think outside the box. Like, what can you do? How big is your database? If you have a huge database, you're going to have to look for something that's probably a little bit more sustainable. If you have a smaller database, could you drop off wreaths? Agents over the years have done Christmas trees. Christmas trees aren't as affordable as what they were back in the day, but like, can you really do something that makes a big impact and really is like heartfelt and really shows, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's all about showing your client how much you care about them. Number 5, holiday check-ins. I love this. And I think that during the holiday season is such a great time to reach out. And honestly, 5 and 6 kind of go together. They're kind of hand in hand. So I always think of the number 6, I put gratitude texts and handwritten notes. And I really think about that like during Thanksgiving, like the week before Thanksgiving. Can you send a video text? I love video text. We've talked about this before, where I literally take my iPhone, turn the camera around so it's facing me like I'm doing a selfie. And then I'm just pushing record on the video and being like, hey, Samantha and Joe, I am so thankful for you. I'm so thankful our paths crossed. It was just such a blessing to help you find your dream house. And now it's so beautiful to see how you've joined your lives together and blah, 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 blah. What can you say to them that would just really like fill their hearts up? And again, make you top of mind because you're thoughtful and you're appreciative. And also beautiful, like handwritten notes for Thanksgiving go a long way. But like those holiday check-ins, can you do that between Thanksgiving and Christmas? If you've already done your gratitude one for Thanksgiving, and then as you're getting closer to Christmas, can you just reach out? You might have clients that observe all different holidays during the season. Can you reach out to your Jewish friends, to all of your friends, and just say happy holidays for whatever holiday that they celebrate? Like, what can you do to really show your clients that you care and that you're thinking about them and you wish them the best this time of year? So that's really kind of 5 and 6. Those are sort of bundled together now that I'm looking at my little list. Number 7, educate, educate, educate. And so this time of year, that looks different. That looks really different on the BPR experience. We're not going as hard on the education, but like we're still putting it in there. We're still talking about the market. And we might be talking about the market while I'm dragging a Christmas tree through a video, but like we're still talking about the market. We're still staying on brand, but we're not like shoving the education piece, down people's throats this time of year, but it definitely never, ever leaves the conversation. It just morphs and switches this depending on what time of year. But as we're into the holidays, we're just like leaning into like the warm and fuzzy. We're leaning into the things that bring joy. We're leaning into all the things that I love that are such a special part of my brand, but we're always still peppering in education because your clients need to know what's going on in the market. And if you're not educating them, they're going to go get education from someone else. And you don't want that person that all of a sudden drops some pearl of wisdom on your client to be like, oh, shoot, now I just lost that client because someone else was educating them and I wasn't doing any of that during the holidays. Number 8, CRMs. Can you send out CRMs to your database, or can you just simply send out an email and say, hey, there's power in knowing what your numbers are at? That's what our last campaign looked like. I'm like, I simply don't have the bandwidth to send out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of CMAs. And Christy's like, okay, let's approach this from a different angle. I'm like, great. So an email went out, an email campaign, actually. There were several steps to it. And it was all about like knowing your number of your house, like knowing its value is super important, whether you're thinking about selling or whether that's the furthest thing from your mind. But if you're ever curious, let me know and I'd be happy to run numbers for you. And that was kind of the bulk of the campaign. And it was all very on brand and all the things. And then I did personal touches to every single past client. And it was a time commitment. I'm not going to lie. I sent like audio messages to every single client. And guess what? 8 of them want valuations. So of that 8, how many of them are going to be doing business and selling, perhaps selling and buying in this coming year? Lord only knows. But 8 more than what I had before I did it, right? So it was super effective. And people are always curious about what their home is worth. So that is I feel like that's really low hanging fruit that you can do with any of your clients. And if you don't have hundreds and hundreds of people in your database, and maybe you only have 50 people in your database, great. Then maybe sending CRMs is a little bit more attainable. And you can send a beautiful CRM and write a lovely letter with it and blah, 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 and say, hey, I was just, someone else was asking about evaluation and I thought you might find it handy too, Bob and Sue Anderson, and, make it warm and fuzzy, make it really feel aligned with the holiday season. Maybe you're doing it around Thanksgiving. And so you're adding gratitude stuff in there, and hey, reach out for more conversation, or let's circle back at the new year and talk about things, or, whatever that looks like. But getting information into people's hands also circles back to number 7. So you're educating and you're providing value and you're not being salesy and gross. And it can be a super, super effective tool to combat the buyer slowdown right now. How about number 9, being visible? What are you up to? What are you doing? Maybe you're not selling as much real estate right now as you would like to be selling, but are you still staying top of mind? Are you still serving your brand? Do you know? This is all going to circle back. We've got so many podcast episodes talking about how to build a brand, how your brand pillars. Like if you're really slow right now, go back and listen to a couple of those episodes, because those are going to be really impactful too. Because you really need to know what your brand is, who you're serving, what that looks like, what is uniquely you. But maybe you aren't selling as much real estate right now, but could you be at, like in the Twin Cities right now, the artisan home tours going on? Could you be touring artisan home tours? And could you be doing polls on social media like, oh my gosh, you like this kitchen or this kitchen? If you had your choice, what kind of backyard would you pick? Would you have a pool, or would you have acreage, or would you live in the city? Would you live in a high rise, acreage? Like you could be really getting great engagement on your social media that doesn't have to be just sold, just listed, got this buyer under contract. Yay, we're heading to the inspection. Like you can do other things, and it can just be you spending time with your family. It can be you like snuggling into the holidays. It can be you doing pop buys. Someone can record you doing B-roll of doing video messages to your clients, the gratitude messages. Like all of this can be on social media. So people are like, oh, whoa, she's doing a lot of stuff out there right now. Well, let's talk about real estate. When I was making my messages when I was doing my audio messages, like following up on our CRM, one of the couples reached back out and they're like, oh my gosh, your ears must have been burning. We were talking about you last weekend. I'm like, oh, do tell. And they said we had driven past a house that really like caught our eye, and we're like, we really need to get our act in gear so we can have a conversation with Beth about what it looks like to sell, so then we can buy our next house. Yeah. Awesome. Let's do that. Let's do that. So my message was so timely and yeah. The other thing, like, so I do the quarterly, I put out an email that is my 5 favorite things each quarter. And I try to change it up. So sometimes I never talk about like real estate stuff. This is always like personal stuff. So in my house, what do I use? Like my favorite bug spray in the summer. This last one in the fall, what did we do? Honey, some new honey that I found that I'm absolutely obsessed with. These little mini pita things that are so yummy. Some setting spray that I got buy at Target. This Riddle brand milky lotion. The weirdest thing ever. Like it is like a milky, cloudy lotion, a spray lotion, and it smells divine. Like literally, people will stop me at Target, and then I can't remember what the fifth thing was. But the crazy thing is, so many people. So I did a couple of reels, and then people are like, "Oh my gosh, that honey's amazing! I love that honey." And I'm like, I thought I was the only one that knew about it, but no, it created this whole engagement. It created tons of people like chiming in about how they use it, why they love it, yada yada. The face spray got a lot of traction. People are like, "Ooh, tell me more about this face spray. What does it do? What do you like about it?" And then the Riddle Milky Body Spray. And the reel was something like it was Carrie had done B-roll of me. Like we were at Target buying some staging stuff. So I'm literally in the aisle, like filling the cart with staging stuff. And Carrie's she's so funny. Like we'll be at Target and all of a sudden I look up and there's like, she's got the camera at the end of the aisle. I'm like, oh my God, it's paparazzi. Hilarious and also still awkward. I don't know that I'll ever get used to that. But all of a sudden I had this awesome video and I did a reel like, are you curious to know what strangers are stopping me at Target and asking me about how yummy I smell? And people were like messaging me like crazy that week, asking like, what is it? Send me a link. And I'm like, I'm not even getting an affiliate spiff for it. I really should. Christy and I are like, we need to get an affiliate link for that. But it created engagement. That's what it is. At the end of the day, it's not about going viral. The podcast last week or just a couple weeks ago was all about you don't have to go viral to really have a successful business. And that took a long time for that to sink in my head. But can you be just talking about things on social media and create engagement, create that know, like, and trust factor, and really stay top of mind? And number 10, we've talked about this kind of the whole way through. Bring people into your brand. What does your brand look like? What does your brand do that makes you uniquely you, that separates you from me, and really makes you shine and stand out and make people fall in love with you and trust you and want to do business with you? And the real estate is one of the most expensive big ticket item transactions that people do in their entire life. So what makes them want to work with you? What is special about your brand? What makes you uniquely you? You know, for me, some of the pillars of my brand, like I talk about Mark, my husband, I talk about Birch, my cat. Strangers will stop me and be like, oh my God, I love Birch. People that have never, ever met Birch are like, I'm obsessed with your cats, which is so funny. But if you're a fellow cat person, you're like, yeah, my cat's my world. I talk about self-love and I talk about struggles with my weight and dressing my body and being comfortable in my own skin. We talk about real estate. We talk about design because that's so important. And, that's just so wired in my DNA. And we talk about entertaining and the holidays. So like those are parts of my brand that are really special and unique to me and help put that special touch on the BPR experience. BPR experience, real estate only better, right? So what is it about your brand that makes you special, that makes you unique, that makes people just dying to work with you? Bring people into your brand. Or maybe you haven't figured it out yet, and go back to some of our older episodes and really hone in, especially if you're having a buyer slowdown right now. Start doing some of these things. And really, this is a time you have to do that. If the universe is giving you a little bit of a pause right now and you're like really frustrated and you don't have the business that you want, lean into some of these things. Dive into some of these things on this top 10 list and really start implementing them and see how business changes in 2026. But if you haven't gone hard on your brand yet and figured that out, that is really, really important. And I think there's kind of like no better money spent than really honing that down and hiring a brand strategist to really put visuals to your brand identity and go hard on your brand. Even if you think maybe it's weird, even if it's something that really niches you down, like, why not? Like, literally, what have you got to lose at this point? People want to work with people they know, like, and trust. So, is that you? I hope you found this top 10 list helpful. If you have a real estate friend, actually even anyone in sales, this could apply to their career. Share this episode with a friend. And until next time, bus bench babes, keep your face off a bus bench and keep being the badass boss babe that you are.
Okay, girls, are you feeling as inspired as we are? We're over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of the Girl, Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast.
If you want more, head over to girlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com for show notes and more episodes. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. They mean the world to us, and they're what keep us going.
Girl, thanks for being here.